Welcome back to Chatbots Behaving Badly, the podcast where AI doesn't just transform the workplace, it eats the entry-level ladder for breakfast and then asks if you'd like fries with that. In today's episode, let's just say, if you've ever felt like work handed you a jetpack but forgot to build the runway, this one's for you. Written by Marcus Brinsa, narrated by Brian C. Lujan. Chatbots Behaving Badly is a research initiative in collaboration with Securi Incorporated. Act 1. The office changed while we were in a meeting. Somewhere between your last performance review and this morning's stand-up, work quietly rewrote itself. Docs draft themselves, meetings summarize themselves, dashboards talk to dashboards about your engagement, and your job description grew an invisible second page titled, "Also Become an AI Power User," yesterday. The plot twist is not that AI showed up, it's that the calendar didn't change. We didn't remove a single meeting to make room for learning. We just stapled "learn the tools" to the end of your day and called it innovation. Automation without subtraction is not productivity. It's overtime with branding. And yes, managers, I'm looking at you too. You said, let's pilot this model, which is corporate for let's adopt it and pray. Then you kept every legacy process because we might still need it. Spoiler, if you keep everything, you change nothing, except stress levels. Act 2, the myth of the digital native. There's a spicy take floating around. Gen Z grew up online, so how on earth are they overwhelmed by AI at work? Simple. TikTok is not governance. Using filters is not handling client risk. Beating your cousin at Mario Kart does not qualify you to drive a delivery truck through Lagos at rush hour. Consumer fluency isn't enterprise literacy. The generative tools humming in your browser aren't toys. They move revenue, compliance, and careers. Digital native is a flattering label that prepares exactly nobody to navigate a half-baked AI rollout with real deadlines attached. If you're 23 and your first week starts where your boss's fifth year used to, you're not entitled. You're airborne without runway. That feeling of "I'm faking it" isn't a personality flaw. It's a predictable response to missing practice reps. Act 3, the entry-level vanish act. Remember entry-level tasks? First passes on copy, boilerplate code, research that taught you what mattered and what didn't. The cheapest, safest rungs on the ladder. Those rungs are exactly what AI eats first. When the bots do the warm-ups, rookies start midair. And let's be honest, a lot of AI success stories are, in reality, we automated the tutorial level. Great for throughput. Terrible for apprenticeship. If you remove the low-stakes reps where people learn taste and judgment, you manufacture imposter syndrome at scale. Suddenly, everyone is bluffing competence because the social cost of admitting "I'm new at this" feels higher than the cost of silently drowning. Act 4, the well-being crunch and why dashboards can feel like dentists. AI was sold as a cure for drudge work. It can be, but in many teams, we layered shiny tools on fossilized workflows. Now, learning the model is a stealth second shift. You prompt, you revise, you double-check, you justify, all while the old process still breathes quietly in the corner like an unplugged fridge. And then, the dashboards. Ah, yes, the dashboards. Helpful when they reduce noise. Soul-sucking when they morph into algorithmic supervisors with opinions about how engaged your face looked on Zoom. A model that drafts your meeting notes is a gift. A model that judges your participation score is an ulcer. Same technology, different design intent. Here's the psychological kicker. That constant low-grade uncertainty. Am I doing this right? Is this compliant? Did the model miss something? Is cognitive load. It erodes focus and meaning. You get more output and less satisfaction. Your brain starts to whisper, "The numbers went up, but did I?" Act 5. Gen Z has no right to complain, and other lazy plots. Let me try this without setting Twitter on fire. Nobody has the right to stagnate. We all have to learn, forever. But younger workers didn't saw off the ladder, and telling them to toughen up won't weld it back on. If your first job starts mid-air, swagger becomes a survival tactic. Faking fluency is cheaper than building it, in the short run. Long run, that bluff turns into burnout. So no, Gen Z doesn't get a special grievance card. They do get a runway. They do get time to practice in public without punishment. And they do get leaders who know the difference between adding tools and adding value. Act 6. Leaders. This part is for you. If you run a team, the fix is not a poster about growth mindset. The fix is subtraction and structure. Start by removing one legacy step for every AI tool you add. If the model writes a draft, kill the committee that used to performatively rewrite the draft to prove it worked hard. If the tool summarizes the meeting, shorten the meeting. If the bot does QA on boilerplate code, remove the busy work tickets that existed only to create the illusion of throughput. Carve a weekly hour for messy practice. Make it normal to ask dumb questions without losing political capital. And please stop measuring everything that twitches just because a dashboard can. If a metric doesn't help a human make a better decision, it's confetti with a spreadsheet. Finally, reward judgment. The goal is not most prompts per minute. The goal is better work with fewer keystrokes and calmer people. Act 7. For the new and the nervous. If you're just starting out, here's the bad news dressed as a gift. You don't get to opt out. The jetpack is here, but you can become fluent faster than your organization can teach you. Skip the bluff. Share your process in public. Your prompts, your misfires, your edits, your why. Documenting your learning is the easiest way to turn anxiety into momentum. In a room where everyone is confused, the person who narrates their path becomes the person others follow. 2 practical moves to calm your amygdala. First, pick one workflow you touch every day. Research, drafting, testing, whatever. And make the model your co-pilot for that one thing only for 2 weeks. Don't sprinkle AI on everything like Parmesan. Go deep in one lane. Second, define done upfront with your manager. If you're checking AI's work, say how deep the check needs to be. Nothing shreds your nerves faster than a moving quality bar. Act 8. Vignettes from a saner office. Picture this. A marketing team runs on a weekly content calendar. Before AI, 3 humans wrestled a blog post into shape while the Slack channel reenacted Lord of the Flies. After AI, the team uses a model for a first draft, but they have also eliminated the Thursday review committee and replaced it with a single editor who has veto power. The writer spends the reclaimed hours interviewing a customer. The post gets better, not just faster. The model didn't replace the work. It moved the work toward judgment. Or this. A software team lets the model write boilerplate tests, then removes the Jira tickets that existed solely to manufacture sprint points. Instead, juniors spend the saved time pairing with seniors on gnarly edge cases. In 6 weeks, those juniors stop bluffing and start contributing in ways no model can. Apprenticeship restored. One more. A customer support team feeds the model their policy Bible and sets it to propose answers, not send them. Agents accept, revise, or reject with one click, and the model learns from those choices. Meanwhile, leadership removes the handle time wall of shame from the big screen. The metric they track is resolution quality stress drops. So does attrition. Odd how that works. Act 9. The Sanity Clause. The point of this episode is not that AI ruined work. The point is that undesigned AI did. We shipped jetpacks and kept the maze. We measured louder instead of thinking harder. We confused adoption for competence and swagger for skill. That's fixable. The future of work isn't humans versus machines. It's humans versus nonsense. The first teams that trade noise for judgment will feel it in their calendars, their cortisol, and their outcomes. If you're young, take the gift. Mastery is still the rarest flex. If you're in charge, take yours. Design a runway, then watch people fly. This was Gen Z versus the AI office. This week's episode of Chatbots Behaving Badly. Written by Marcus Brinsa, narrated by Brian C. Lucian. If you enjoyed this, share it with your team, your boss, or the dashboard that keeps emailing you about your engagement. New episodes of Chatbots Behaving Badly land every Tuesday, wherever you get your podcasts. Let's keep the tools lifting the work and the humans keeping the plot.